Here's 3 things I really like about my job as a hospitalist. Let's go. What's up, everyone? Mike Muellner here. I'm an internal medicine doctor from Los Angeles, California, currently working as a hospitalist. And I want to get into some stuff I really like about the job. Number 1, I like the variety of conditions that I treat. So I treat stuff involving all different organ systems, heart attacks, kidney disease, strokes. I mean, if I think back to last week, let's think last week, Friday, I took care of somebody with very advanced alcohol-related liver disease. He needed paracentesis, so I had to do a procedure to drain fluid from the abdomen. Then on the same day, there was someone with a heart attack. Then somebody with a stroke needed to have a tracheostomy placed just to support the airway. Then I had several infections, urinary tract infection, a bad case of cellulitis. So a big variety of different conditions. You're certainly never going to get bored with that much different things to think about, diagnose, and treat. And so, this makes me think back to when I was a kid. I think I was in junior high at the time. I had an orthodontist he was kind of a funny guy. He wore a tie that had teeth on it, and then another day he wore a tie that had like toothbrushes on it. And so I remember thinking, wow, this guy really likes teeth. And that's kind of cool. I mean, he's an orthodontist, so hopefully he likes teeth. But then also at the same time, I thought, I don't know if I really want my whole life to revolve around one very narrow field like that. Now, I'm not hating on it. I have a huge amount of respect for dentists, orthodontists, and then specialists like cardiologists, gastroenterologists, dermatologists. They become real masters at their field. But it's something that I don't think would have been a good fit for me. I like the variety. Number 2, another thing I really like about this job would be, I guess I'll make no bones about it, the schedule. Typical schedule for a hospitalist is 7 days on, 7 days off. So you're working really hard when you're on, but then you get 7 days off to recover. That's a whole week. And I would argue that that's better than the standard 5 days on than the weekend off, because with those 7 days off, you can travel, you have a lot more time to do other things. And with the 7 days on, even though sure, you get tired by the end, you can really focus on your work. There's good continuity of care. You're seeing the same patients every day. They're seeing the same doctor. So you establish really good rapport, which you wouldn't have if you were on for just like 3 days at a time, right? That wouldn't be good. Then patients are seeing different doctors. There's all these switches. More mistakes can happen. So I really do like the schedule a lot. 7 days on, 7 days off. And, I also like the opportunity to do night shifts too. That's even more variation. It helps to mix things up a bit because the work you do during the night, is different from the day. You're more focused on emergencies. And so that can add some nice variety to it. Number 3, a third thing I really like about this job would be, I think I could keep going on. You know what? I'm going to make this 5. I'm going to do 5 things I like about the job. So number 3, a third thing I really like about the job is I think it really hits a bullseye in terms of acuity of care. Let me explain. So in the hospital, obviously everybody's really sick. If they weren't really sick, they wouldn't be in the hospital. But I like that because what happens is you don't end up treating a lot of things that are maybe more minor complaints. So, somebody with maybe elbow pain after playing tennis, those patients might go to the emergency department, but the ER physician is going to redirect them to the clinic where they can really get the best care for that particular illness. And so in the hospital setting, I can really focus on treating people who have really advanced illness or very acute diseases that are potentially life-threatening without having to also focus on more minor complaints. Now, that's not to say elbow pain is not a big deal. It can really be, it can really limit your lifestyle. There's people who've had to give up hobbies that they really enjoy. Even career-ending injuries, right? A golfer who gets real bad at elbow pain, you can bet that's a problem. I'm not saying that it's not serious, but it's just not going to be acutely life-threatening. And it's, a different frame of mind required to take care of those kind of conditions. And it's not something that I really focus on in the hospital. But the same is true on the opposite end of the spectrum. So people who are really, really in bad shape. So crashing, can't breathe, needing to go on a ventilator, or they've got infections that are so out of control that the blood pressure is dropping. These individuals end up going to the intensive care unit. And so there you get critical care doctors who focus on their care. And so I'll usually hand off the care to them when that happens. So with hospital medicine, we focus on the dead center in between those two extremes. And I think that, at least for me, for my personality, that really hits a sweet spot in terms of the acuity of illnesses that are treated. Then number 4, another thing I really like about this job is something you're not supposed to talk about, so I won't harp on it too much, but the pay. I do think that this is a career that is definitely fairly compensated, especially because of when you work night shifts, you work weekends, you work holidays. Contrast that with a clinic doctor who doesn't have those opportunities as much. Those types of shifts typically get a larger paycheck with them. So it's not at all too hard to make, 350, 400 plus 400K a year doing hospital work, especially if you do extra shifts after hours. And finally, number 5, the 5th thing I really like about this job, I saved the best for last, is the patients. So in hospital medicine, you're not just spending a 15-minute clinic visit with your patient. You're spending the whole week with them, with the patients and their families. That's enough time to really develop a relationship with them, to help build that trust with the patients. And it's an incredible honor for patients to trust you with, literally, with their lives or the lives of their loved ones. And so I think that is something that really keeps the job interesting and also very rewarding. At the end of the day, you're not just treating a bunch of numbers. And sure, we get very focused on numbers, like, oh, hey, great, look at this. The blood pressure is now improving with antibiotics, or the fever is gone now. But, that stuff's boring at the end of the day. What really makes it unique and a rewarding experience are the relationships that you build with patients and their families. So there you go. There's 5 things I really like about this job. If you are thinking about going to medical school, or you're in medical school thinking about different careers to follow afterwards and are interested in hospital medicine, feel free to send a message or a DM my way, and I'll get back to you. But anyway, thanks for checking out this video. Feel free to hit the subscribe button and check out another video here, and I'll see you guys later.